Hello, guys. This is LA. So, welcome to the Woke in Progress. This is basically the Woke in Progress is basically a girl's attempt to create a space for healthy conversations regarding healing, mental health, and some pop culture on the side, and other things happening in the world with a hope to educate myself and other people in line with these topics. So hopefully, if you listen to this podcast, you will learn and take away something good and put it out to the world. So for this first episode, I want to talk about a lot of things, but let me just give like a brief background about myself and how this whole thing kind of came about. So actually, I've been like since the start of the pandemic, which is like 2 years ago. We were literally put in a position, like all of us, the whole world is like put in a position where we're forced to kind of reflect on our life and just assess ourselves as a whole. And it was tough. It was really tough. And I'm a person who's always been like, I know the things that I wanted to do, but I always doubt myself. So I end up not doing those things because of fear. And I've always wanted to do a podcast. I've always wanted to do a lot of things. But yeah, basically, this is like, me trying to push myself. And for this first episode, I just want to kind of catch up or tell the story of how everything just I don't know what I'm saying. But yeah, so basically the start of pandemic was like 2 years ago. Imagine it was 2 years ago, guys. Year 2 of the pandemic. Wow, that's, if you really think about it, it's like whoa, like that just happened. And the fact that we're still living, it's mind-blowing. Like, to be, even if you think about it, this is like the first and hopefully the last pandemic of our lifetime. Because imagine, probably in like the past, I doubt if people like made it out okay from one pandemic. So hopefully this is like our first and last pandemic of our lifetime. Because I think it also in my parents' generation, this is also their first pandemic. And probably also my grandmother, I'm not sure. When was isn't the Spanish flu the last pandemic before this one? So maybe something like that. So just imagine, guys, like this is going to be in like history books in the future, or history ebooks in the future. And that's crazy. The whole point is, it really got me to kind of push myself more and motivate myself more to do the things that I love, because I feel like, oh shit, this is it. I'm running out of time. Like, I could have died. We could all have died. But then the fact that you're alive right now, and if you're not going to do anything, if you're not going to use what's happening in the world right now as a motivation to live your life fully, then, oh shit, that's really sad. So this is like my attempt to work on the things that I need to work on. Before this past month, like end of 2021, basically I moved here in the Middle East in Qatar and left my life in the Philippines. Wow, it's not that, dramatic. I just left because my family and I decided that since it's the pandemic, like why not, it's better that we're better together. So yeah, now I've been living here for like since October 2021. So I came here like on my birthday. I was in quarantine for 2 days, went out. So for I feel like I've already adjusted to the culture here because I've lived here before. But for some reason, it's all different when I came back a few months ago. Like maybe it's just an added, like a huge factor would be the pandemic itself, but it's just so different. And I got so used to the way how I lived back in the Philippines, the comfort and the freedom of living in your own country. So it's still very different. So I was really adjusting a lot. And in the first few months, first few weeks of being here, it wasn't great for me, for my mental health. So it was a lot of adjusting. And to this very day, I'm still adjusting. It's already April. So it's been like October, November, December, January, February, March. So I'm like going into 6 months already here and still adjusting. And so basically like the end of December 2021, again, like my mental health was not great. So just a bit of a background about myself. I am on medications, on psychiatric medications. So anyways, yeah, December, my mental health it just plunged. It wasn't really good. It was very dark. So I decided to isolate myself from social media and from my social life. And by that I mean, avoiding talking to anyone outside besides my family, my mom, my dad, my sister, and that's it. So I've kind of tried to self-reflect and contemplate on what's happening and how I could address my issues, and it wasn't easy. It was really, really dark, and I don't know, like, oh my God, it was really dark and it was scary, but thank God I'm still, of course, as always, I'm still healing, and I'm still in the process of healing. Like, this is going to be a lifetime thing. So yeah, I just want to share that. But the thing is, the good side of all of this that's happening, I've been getting into like a lot of things, so in line with my attempt to heal myself and focus on myself, I've been trying to get into a lot of things. And two great things that came out of my self-isolation. First is I've been trying to kind of explore more my creative side. I've hopefully permanently quit dating apps, or quit attempting even to date, because this time I'm like, I have to prioritize myself, and this time I want to be serious about it, and I want to be like, like so strict and not be distracted by anything. So there's that. I've been trying to, because I studied, another thing about myself, I dropped out of college. I studied graphic design or multimedia arts, and basically I'm trying to like come up with ways on how I could make extra income, since I have a business in the Philippines. But of course, I have a business in the Philippines and I want to earn more money, because come on guys, we want to be financially like free of anything, free of worries. So that's one of my goals, and I've been figuring out how to kind of capitalize and make profit off of my talents, my graphic designing skills. So I've been doing a lot of those. I've been practicing doing art. And also, the thing is, when I was in art school, I was not good when it comes to portraits, like drawing in general. I was only good with graphic design, or I was okay. Like, I wasn't, when I was studying there were a lot of people that were so talented, as in super talented sila, and I'm like, oh shit, am I supposed to be here? Like, I'm just there because I know I am creative, but I didn't really see myself as like an artist, you know what I mean? And it feels like I feel like a fraud when I say, oh, I'm an artist. like, or I'm a graphic designer. So I just say I'm creative. I'm gonna go with that. I'm a creative. And this past few months, I I tried to challenge myself by doing the thing that I was scared of, or the thing that I wasn't really confident on, which is portrait or drawing. And so far, I feel like I have improved, and I have seen myself, be actually okay or good at, drawing. Something that I didn't expect to kind of do, and I've been scared of doing because I know I'm not that kind of creative. So I'm only on graphic design. So besides the art, guys, oh my god, I cannot stop talking and learning about this. But this past few months, since again in relation to kind of my goal to, earn more money on the side and be or achieve total financial freedom, all that. I remember my friend in the Philippines. She kind of, this was like, I don't know, probably a few years ago or like a few months ago. I'm not sure. When she kind of when I had this kind of conversation with her. So basically, my friend, my dear great friend, she told me about this thing where, only I had this, there's this app that I use, and I earned a lot of money. Like I invested this amount and I got this amount of money. And then she said, it's called, I think she mentioned first Binance or something. And then she kind of briefly also mentioned Abra. But at the time when she was telling the story, this was a few years ago, I think, or a year ago, I'm not sure. At the time when she told that story, I didn't really put much attention to it. But now, this past few months, I've been reading a lot about Bitcoin and crypto, and it's so life changing. Like I there's no person that I can talk to about this, because I know it's been in existence for like 11 years or something. I'm not sure when Bitcoin was born, but I've been reading a lot about it, and I have kind of invested a few money in there. And now I'm just trying to kind of understand more the whole world of Bitcoin and crypto, and it's hard. But what really blew my mind about it is the technology behind it. Because the people that I follow would always say, like, it's either there's two main reasons why people get into crypto or Bitcoin. It's because of either the technology or money. And of course, my first initial reason is because of money. But then when I started reading more into it, I'm just mind blown and overwhelmed actually about, there's actually the fact that there's technology behind it. There's like math. It's fucking math. And I'm like, what? I thought this is just money. I just want to get in this and earn and then get rid of it or something like that. But then the more I read into it, I'm like, this is cool. Like, this is beyond me, beyond everything I've ever known in my life. I don't know, maybe I'm coming from like a person who's not very techie. I'm not tech savvy. I hate math. I sucked at math when I was in college. When I was in school, actually. But when I read a lot about Bitcoin and how it works, it's just really mind-blowing. Like, I just wish that I have enough knowledge to really share what I've been reading and I've been learning this past few months, but I feel like I might say the wrong things. But I want to talk about it so much. And I'm like trying to find people that I could talk to about it. Like person to person, you know what I mean? I couldn't find anyone, and it's so hard. Like, I talked to my family about it because, of course, I'm gonna invest money, and I sort of briefly, on a surface level, explain to them what it is, and they think it's a scam, but it's not. I'm so grateful that I have unlocked this new thing that has been going on for more than 10 years, and I can't believe I'm only getting in now. And if you're listening right now, this is like your sign to Google Bitcoin and watch YouTube videos and read and read and read and research about Bitcoin and make your investment. And yeah, I'm just really grateful. Like, that's like one of the best things that kind of happened to me this past few months. And I can't wait for in 10 years. I don't know what's gonna happen, but like, my goal is to kind of have at least one Bitcoin. And it doesn't seem much, but if you're like, but people keep saying that in the future it will be so rare to have at least one Bitcoin, and that's like my goal in the next 3 to 5 years. I don't know if 3 years is like enough for me, because of course, like, my life right now, it doesn't, like, it still revolves around fiat, of course, and I can't just invest everything that I'm earning from my small business in Bitcoin, because, you know, it's a lot of people are, of course, a lot of people will say and always mention that it's very very risky, and only invest money that you're willing to lose. And I still have that fear factor when it comes to investing, but I cannot stop talking and cannot stop learning about it. And I'm like, sometimes, actually recently, I'm at the point when I feel so overwhelmed by everything, like podcasts that I'm listening to about Bitcoin. I've been joining forums and asking questions about Bitcoin, and it's just overwhelming. So right now I'm like on a break, because I feel like I'm reading too much and it's blowing my mind too much. So I'm taking a break from that at this moment. Okay, so I'm gonna stop talking about Bitcoin, but I want to kind of just mention that I'm obsessed with Encanto. I watched it back in December. When I watched it, there's only like 4 people in the cinema, so I thought it was a flop. I'm like, how come no one's watching this movie? Like, it's so good, no one's watching it, and like, no one's talking about it online, on social media, whatever. And after a few weeks, or like a month or something, that's when I started kind of seeing it, people on TikTok posting about it, and I was like, wait, what happened? Like, but anyways, I'm obsessed with We Don't Talk About Bruno. I know it's been like a few months, but I'm still obsessed with that song, and I just love it. I love the story, I love the characters, but I hate Abuela because she's like a gaslighter. I don't know. It's so disturbing the way that she treated Mirabel. And I felt so bad for Bruno. And you know what? I just want to mention, you know, the scene when kind of Mirabel goes into in between the walls, and it was shown that Bruno was like patching the cracks or whatever. I'm like, what? Like, that's really sad. Like, all this time he was there. Oh, and the fact about the peephole, like, in the wall, and kind of to the kitchen, and how he still has the kind of the drawing of the plate with his name on it. Like, that's really sad. Like, I felt really bad for him. And I don't know if like I'm the only one who kind of has this theory about Bruno, or what Bruno represents in the family. Because, you know, the song We Don't Talk About Bruno, like, I thought Bruno is a crazy guy. So I was thinking, like, maybe the fact that the family didn't want to talk about him, and how he wasn't present and how he was hiding. I'm like, this could be like a good metaphor for mental health issues, right? Like, you know how there's still a huge stigma around mental health in the family, and a lot of us don't want to talk about it. So I'm like, is that it? Like, let me know, guys, if I'm the only one who kind of thinks like that about Bruno, right? Like, we don't talk about mental health. We don't talk about. To this very day, I still watch that movie, and I just love the song. I still play it. But yeah, anyways, like, who wouldn't love Encanto, right? And I think the song Dos Oruguitas was nominated for an Oscar. Let's go back to mental health. I'm just glad that this past few days, this past few months, although it started really dark, that I am seeing my own growth internally and staying away from social media for quite some time and not talking to a lot of people and just kind of canceling out the noise and focusing on myself. It really helped a lot. And can I just say that if ever you want to kind of focus on yourself, don't ever feel guilty about, for example, like what I did. I uninstalled my Facebook, my Messenger. I didn't talk to any of my friends. They're looking for me, and I recently just talked to one of them, and like coming out from that shell again and kind of talking from people outside, it's so overwhelming, and I still don't know how to go out there again in the world, go out in the world and talk to people. But anyways, don't ever feel guilty, because for me, I would tell myself that the friends that I have are supportive, and I know they're mature enough that they will understand why I had to stop talking to them. Like, I don't hate them, I know they will understand it. When you have the right people in your life, they will understand why you have to take time off. And don't ever feel guilty, because that's what you need. You need time to be on your own and just really reflect on your life. Prioritize yourself, because otherwise, if you don't, whatever you don't work on, whatever you ignore, that's what you will put out in the world unconsciously. And that's a really terrible way to navigate the world. Wow, hashtag deep. But yeah, I'm really serious. And again, it's case to case basis. For me, that's what I always do. Like, I have to step back. I want silence. I want to cancel out the noise. I don't want any distraction. I have to focus. And this past few months really helped me reflect more on my life, helped me understand even more, helped me realize even more the importance of working on myself and prioritizing myself instead of getting distracted with social media, dating apps, which really sucks, and we will talk about it in the future. But yeah, this is so, especially this past few years, this is so cliche, and like, it seems like everyone's talking about it, but it is true to really focus on yourself and love yourself and spend time with yourself. Because I feel like it's not that it's just a trend, like, self-love and self-development. It's not just a trend. It's just that because of the tools that we have now, we're hearing about it more. But it's not, it's not like it's not like something that just came out of nowhere. It's just that we have the technology, and we're able to kind of hear about someone going through something from the other parts of the world. So that's why it feels overwhelming that everyone's kind of going online and saying I'm depressed, or like, hearing podcasts like this, for example, where people talk about their issues. But because that's the thing, it's really important that we talk about it. And the more we talk about it, the more we decrease, hopefully, the more we are able to hopefully eradicate the stigma so that we can all heal. Amen. I'm just saying, like, this kind of journey of self-discovery and self-healing and self-development, it's really not easy. One thing I've learned is that we're always going to be working on ourselves. Like, it's not... The other day I was talking to my friend about, is happiness a destination or is it the journey? Ooh, that's deep. But, that's my point. What I realized is that just because I decided to work on myself today or this year, it doesn't mean that after 3 months, after 6 months, after a year, after 5 years, I'm okay now. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't just disappear just because you decided to heal. I think one of the OG bloggers, this Filipina blogger that I follow, she kind of says, like, life doesn't really get easier. You just get better at dealing with life. You know what I mean? Like, this is from personal experience. I started seeking help actively or proactively for my mental health. I started 2 or 3 years ago. That's when I started to go to professionals for help. And ever since then, I have been with a lot of shit too. I have been through shit. It didn't, my problems didn't go away. I got better. I just got better at dealing with my issues. But they never ever really go away. And that's like my frustration. That's like what I ask myself. Like, I know intellectually, and I've learned that problems won't disappear. You will always have problems for as long as you exist. Because we're humans and life is kind of programmed that way. And it's our job to kind of learn how to deal with problems. How to get used to, when something happens, you teach yourself, how can I learn from this? What can I learn from this? And how will I approach this? So in the next time you face that problem, you already know how to deal with it. You don't run away from it anymore. You don't let it control you or control your life anymore. So yeah, that's how life is. And I don't know what else I'm going to discuss. But anyways, guys, I just, I don't know if anyone's even going to listen, but this is like online therapy. So if you're into that shit, wait for the next episodes. And if you follow on my social media, you could suggest, send me write a comment or send me a DM on the things that you want to talk about. And in the next episode, I will be talking to my friend Jaja. She's in the Philippines, and we will be talking about a lot of things. But so far, we have mentioned we want to discuss healing, mental health, adulting, as millennials, as titas, and also dating. So better watch out. Support the podcast. And sorry if this is so random. I'm just trying this out. But thank you for watching, and I hope you heal from everything that you're going through. We can do this.